Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to type in 24-hour time, also called military time, into a field in your Microsoft Access database and have it automatically convert over to a time that Access likes. It doesn't like it when you type in 700, but if you type in 700 into my text box, you'll get 7 o'clock a.m. I'm also going to show you how to make it so that if you just type in a simple number like 9, it'll assume 9 a.m. You don't have to actually type in the 9a or the 9p. If you type in 15, it'll assume 3 p.m. So we can make it even easier than military time, because I do that a lot. Sometimes I just want to type in 6, enter, and have that assume it's 6 a.m. So even if you've watched my previous video on military time, that's a new trick that we're going to be doing today. So the tricks that I'm covering are in my fitness database series. This is part 58. Do you have to watch all the previous videos? No, you don't. And do you have to care about fitness? No, I don't care. If you don't want to track calories and protein, don't worry about it. The point of this database series is I'm building this database for myself, and I'm tossing in all kinds of cool tips and tricks to teach you guys how to do this stuff. So even if you're not building a fitness database, you can probably use this in like a time tracking database or a work log database or whatever, especially if you deal with a lot of 24-hour time. So, are you ready? Here we go. One of the requests that I've gotten from all of you fine students is a few people have asked me if they could enter in 24-hour time up here without typing in the colon, right? They want to be able to type in like 2000 like that, all right? And right now, the system, if it doesn't see a time, a valid date time value, it just ignores it and puts the current date time in there. That's how we've got it programmed. So I want it so that if you type in like 2300, it puts in 11 p.m. Okay. I find this a lot myself. Like I'll just put in like 9 and I want it to put in 9 a.m. for example, or 11. I want 11 a.m. without having to type in the A or P. So it's just little minor modifications like that sometimes make a database really useful. Now, I do have another video, it's about 3 years old, where I teach how to be able to enter stuff like this for some different purposes. We do it in like a clock in, clock out kind of thing. So check this video out if you want to learn a little bit more. But I'm going to go over the basics today and add a little bit of extra flair to it as well. So I'm going to show you how to implement this here, because this box here, that's our default time box, this doesn't have any before update validation in it. These guys do. So this would be a lot more complicated. I'm going to show you how to do it with this box, which honestly, this is the only one that I usually update the time in, because I set the time first, and then I put my items in, and it just grabs the time off of that. I almost never come in here and change these times. So again, I'm just speaking from my experience with this database. But if enough of you want to see how to do it with these, then let me know. If enough of you post a comment, we'll do something. All right, squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? All right, so this guy, our default food time text, the after update event is pretty simple and straightforward. It says if it's not a valid date, then set this equal to now minus the date, which basically is the time, right? If you take now, which is the date and time, and subtract the date, you get just the time. And then default food time text equals format food log time, so we're formatting it properly. So before all of that runs, we can check for numbers. And if we have just a number, then we can convert that number over to a valid time format, right? So if is numeric, I'm just going to copy because I don't want to keep retyping this, that guy. If it's numeric, then let's start by checking for simple numbers like 7 for 7 a.m., right? Or 23 for 11 p.m. Okay, so let's make a variable called L, dim L as a long. Sometimes it's X, sometimes it's L. I don't know. It's just random. L equals, now since we know it's a number at this point, we can convert it to a long. Right? CLNG. If they type in a number with a point, a decimal point, no. I mean, I guess we could do that later if you want to type in 7.5 and have that convert to 730. I have had people want to do that before. Usually it's where they're adding stuff up, like adding times up. You know, you get a timesheet from an employee, and they spent 2.5 hours on this, 3.25 hours on that. You want to add them all up and then convert that to a valid number of hours and minutes. I got a whole separate video on that one too. I don't know where it is. I don't feel like looking for it. Search my website or post a comment down below and I'll find it. But at this point, we know it's a valid number, so we can convert it to a long, right? CLNG, that guy. Now, if L is less than 24, then they did what I want to do, is just type in 9, for example, right? Then we're going to assume a simple time, like 7 for 7 a.m., right? And here, we can just simply tack on the minutes on the end of it, right? Default food time text equals L and :00, because we're still dealing with a text value, right? We're going to rewrite this text thing and then pass it to this, which will convert it to a proper time. See where I'm going with this? All right. Otherwise, else, actually, let's do an else if L is greater than or equal to 100. I guess they could type in 0024. That gets really complicated. So this is only going to work with 1 o'clock on. Okay, for now. Maybe we'll add it so we can, because typing in, like, you know, if it's done 30, what is it? 0030 would be 30 minutes past midnight. So that could be another one too. I guess we'd have to check the left 2 characters to see if those are zeros. Let's just do the simple version first. So for now, it only works from times after 1 o'clock. All right, then this will be a time from 100 hours to, I guess 23 or 2400 really. And there is no 2400, is there? It's 2359. All right, but let's keep it simple. We'll tweak it later. I like to get the general stuff done first. So we'll need 2 more values. Now we got to separate out the H and the L, or the H and the hours and the minutes, right? So we'll need 2 more variables, H as a long and N as a long. Why N for minutes, you say? Well, that goes with the date add and the date diff formats, right? M is month, so N is minutes. I'm just staying consistent with Access. So the H, the hours, is going to be L integer divide, not this guy. That's regular divide. We want integer division 100, right? So 730 becomes 7. We're basically dividing it by 100 and ignoring any remainder. That's what integer division is. I cover integer division and modulus and all that in my Access Expert Level 26 class. It's one of the more advanced math functions, all this kind of cool stuff. All right, so now I got the hours out of it. How do I get the minutes part of it? Well, N, minutes, is going to be L mod 100, right? So 730 becomes 30. We divide it by 100, and we just want the remainder portion. Okay? And now, default food time text becomes H and a thingy and N. So 730 becomes 730. Now, we do have an issue where if N is less than 10, we have to add a 0 there. Okay? So this might be better off. Actually, let's do it like this. Let's say default food time text equals H and that. Let's cut this off. Okay, and here we're going to say if N is less than 10, then default food time text equals default food time text and an extra 0. And then we'll say default food time text equals default food time text. You say it 8 times fast and the N. There. So now we got 7 and then the 30. And if we need that extra 0, it puts it in there. It's just these little things you got to think of. Although most of the time when people enter military time, it's either top of the hour or 30 or 15 or whatever. I almost never see a 07, 02. All right, let's end if there, and if there. And if we get to this point and this guy has been rewritten, it should flow through this then. All right, we still got a couple little tweaks to make, but let's just give it a test real quick. Test, debug, compile. All right, let's come back out here. I know it's not finished. I like to get the big strokes done first. Oh, that's what she said. Oh, hey, hold on. All right, so let's come in here. I'm just going to type in a 5. Boom, 5 a.m. Nice. Let's type in a 20. Boom, 8 p.m. That's perfect. Okay. All right, how about 200? Boom, 2 a.m. Okay, good. How about 1500? 3 p.m. Good. How about 1745? 5:45 p.m. That's great. Okay, so it's working mostly. 2350. 11:50 p.m. Beautiful. All right. Now we got some edge cases. What if they type in a number that's too big, like 4,000? All right. See, it's gonna not know how to handle that. It's gonna, let's see. Why did it make it 11:01 p.m.? See, it's gonna just add and do kind of weird stuff. So we have to take that into consideration. So if L is greater than 100 and L is less than or equal to 2359, anything bigger than that, it's not going to work with this. All right, save it. All right, so if I type in, oh, that's why it went to 11:01, because it is now 11:01 p.m. At 4,000, it didn't know how to deal with that, so it put the current. I was trying to figure why did it pick 11:01 p.m. because it is 11:01 p.m. All right, let's try a smaller number. Let's do 2,000. 8 p.m. Okay, let's do 3,000. See, 11:02. It can't handle that. How about negative 900? 11:02. Good. It can't handle that either. All right, great. We should probably say here if L is greater than or equal to 0 and L is less than 24. Let's do this too. Let's do L is less than 2,400. That makes more sense. Okay. All right. So I think what we're going to do now is, all right, so 0 through 24, it's going to assume the hour. Okay? If they type in 100 through 2,400, well, less than 2,400, it's going to assume military time. I think the best way to do it after that is any other number less than 100, we can just assume it's the minutes. Like they typed in 0030, right? It can't be 30 hours, so we'll just assume that's 0030 minutes. And I think that's probably the best way to handle it. Or you know what we could do? Now see, this is what happens sometimes when you write version 1 of an algorithm and you think to yourself, you know what, what might be better here is to look at the number of characters that they typed in, right? If they typed in numbers and they only typed in 1 or 2 digits, then assume they want the simple hour, right? Instead of looking to see if it's less than 24. If they typed in 3 or 4 digits, they might have typed in 700 or 930 military style without the leading 0. If they typed in all 4 digits, then we know they want military style, right? So we can approach it that way. All right, so I don't want to totally start over, but let's start over. We're going to rewrite. Sometimes, hey, I do this a lot. And I kind of made some outlines of what I want to do today, but I always get better ideas as I'm going along. And I don't want to, what we did was not invalid. There's just a better way coming up to do it, right? So let's do this. And so I don't have to keep retyping default food time text, let's put it in a string. So let's say S as a string. And we're going to say S equals default food time text. It just makes the code easier to read. Okay. Start off by trimming it. So let's trim this. So in case there happens to be a leading space in there, we'll get rid of it right off the bat. Now, if is numeric S, then we've got a number. Okay. If not, the rest of that stuff down below is just fine. Okay. We know at this point we have a number, so we can now put L equals CLNGS. That's good. Let's now figure out how many digits they typed in, right? So we'll do a select case, the length of S, all right? How many characters were typed in, and select. And if you've never done a select case statement before, I got a video on that. Here it is, you'll find a link down below. All right, so case 1 or 2 means it's a simple hour, like 7 or 23, right? Like, okay, in which case, it's pretty much the same thing we did before. Default food time text equals L and colon 00, like that. Now, case 3 or 4 means military or 24-hour time, like 700 or 1930. Okay, now in this case, again, we got to split these up. So H, whoops, how did I get down there? My mouse pointer's been weird lately. So H equals L mod 100 to get the hours. N equals L mod, div 100 mod 100. You know what I mean. So now we got those separated. Now what we're going to say is default food time text equals H and the colon. And now instead of having to do that trick we did a minute ago, there's another trick. You can use the format command and say this. Watch, format N, comma, and put 00 there. And what that does with the format command is it says, I want you to take this N and display it in this format. So if it's just a 2, you'll get 02. If it's a 12, you'll get 12. Okay, that's a neat little formatting trick. Again, I got another video where I covered that. I don't remember where. I don't feel like looking that one up. The easy ones like select case, I just type in select case. There it goes. The format one, I don't think it's in my format video. I got a different video where I cover that. But that should do it. If they type in anything other than that, then it's okay to drop out, and this will just handle it. So we don't need a case else inside here. So that, see, this again just goes to show that sometimes after you write the code the first time to get it to work and you see what it looks like, then your brain says, you know what, we can simplify that and do it a different way. That's when I thought, hey, instead of just looking at the numeric value, let's look at the number of characters they type in. Right? I'm the same way with loops. My brain, whenever I think of some complicated data sets, my brain always thinks, okay, we got to loop through the customers and do this for each one. And then after I write that and I get it working, then I say, hey, you know what? Let's see if we can rewrite this as an SQL statement, which 9 times out of 10 runs faster. All right, anyways, debug compile once in a while. All right, now let's give it a shot. Let's try 9 a.m. Good. How about 17? 5 p.m. Good. How about 9:30? 9:30 a.m. How about 17:30? 5:30 p.m. Beautiful. How about 5555? 11:15, which we're now at 11:15 p.m. How about 00:23? 12:23 a.m. Perfect. We caught that edge case. I think that's it. I think we covered everything. Like 0:34. Boom. 12:34 a.m. Perfect. And that is how you do the simple hours like I want or the military time. And that should answer your whoever. A couple of people emailed me since like week 13, whatever, going back. Hey, can we do the military? Okay, sure. And sometimes by writing the code that you can easily think of, right, as you're typing it in, those edge cases come to you where it's like, okay, what if they do this? What if they do that? Oh, then we got to rewrite it this way. So sometimes the code just evolves and even gets simpler as you're writing it. I've had whole pages of code that were like 50 lines that after I sat there and looked at it and analyzed it a different way, or sometimes I slept on it. Like it's 11:16 at night right now. I bet you if I slept on this, I'd get an even smarter idea. Tomorrow morning, I was like, wait a minute, we can do it this way. All right, members, we got an extended cut today. I'm going to show you how to make an option with a checkbox to keep the time when you copy items from a previous day. This copy item button was something we added in an extended cut in the past, right? It gives us an option to copy items so I can go back to like a day before. I can say, okay, I want to copy my fruit bowl to today. Copy, 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 right? It copies all these items. Problem is, I don't always want to copy this time. Sometimes if, like, let's say it's 9 o'clock and I'm going to bed early, I want my snack now. I want to copy this, but I don't want it to say 11 p.m. for whatever reason. Most of the time I do it with other stuff. If I'm having dinner early or whatever. So we're going to make a checkbox here, which you probably have seen throughout this video. It's been down there because I was messing around earlier. But we're going to make it work in the extended cut. So when you do this, if you turn this off, it will copy these items to today, but use the current time instead of this time. And that's going to be covered in today's extended cut. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut videos. There's hundreds of them, so you got tons of stuff to watch. Gold members can download these databases, and you get access to the code vault and a lot more. Every member gets some free training, like my full courses, right? And lots and lots of stuff. So click that blue join button today. But that's going to do it for your tech help video for today. I hope you learned something. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button right now and give me a like. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. And make sure you click that bell icon and select all to receive notifications whenever I post a new video. Do you need help with your Microsoft Access project? Whether you need a tutor, a consultant, or a developer to build something for you, check out my Access Developer Network. It's a directory I put together personally of Access experts who can help with your project. Visit my website to learn more. Any links or other resources that I mentioned in the video can be found in the description text below the video. Just click on that Show More link right there. YouTube's pretty good about hiding that, but it's there. Just look for it. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, tables, all that stuff. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? And if you like Level 1, Level 2 is just $1. That's it. And it's free for members of my YouTube channel at any level. Speaking of memberships, if you're interested in joining my channel, you get all kinds of awesome perks. Silver members get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, and there's hundreds of them by now. They also get one free beginner class each month, and yes, those are for my full courses. Gold members get the previous perks plus access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos. Plus, you get access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions and all kinds of source code that I use. And gold members get one free expert class every month after completing the beginner series. Platinum members get all of the previous perks, plus they get all of my beginner courses, all of them from every subject. And you get one free advanced or developer class every month after finishing the expert series. And you can become a diamond sponsor and have your name listed on the sponsor page on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by accesslearningzone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time.